Today, Rambam. We continue in the laws of Maisa Carbonis on how the offerings are to be offered. We're in chapter 13. We're doing the mincha offering. Mincha meaning the flour and oil. That's based on flour and oil is the basis of it. And we learned yesterday that there are three communal such offerings, and there are 9 individual such offerings. Now, this is not about the part of the libation, because in some offerings that this is a libation, but this is an offering in and of itself, right? That's made up of fine flour and oil. That's the basis of it. So let's go into chapter 13 for halacha number 1. It is a positive commandment to prepare all the meal offerings according to the commandments prescribed the Torah. Okay. How was a chavitim offering of the high priest prepared? So a Kohen Gadol brought every day this, what we call chavitim. So now we're going to get a glimpse of what it is. He would bring an entire isorin and sanctify it, and then divide it in half isorin measure in the temple. And let the vida in.
It's kind of slow. I just pressed.
No problem.
I kept Michael now.
Sanctify it, and then divide it in half isorin measure in the temple. This was necessary because even though it was offered in half portions, it was not sanctified in half portions. Right, so it's not sanctified in half portions. You have to sanctify it complete. 3 lugim of oil are brought with it. So, okay, so you have an isorin, to find somewhere. No, it's good. I have to find somewhere when we have these measures, what they are in modern day terms. Like I have to have it in front of me because I lose. Okay. All right. So it's not all right. Then you add to the flour 3 lugim of oil are brought with it. You should prepare it in oil, an amount of oil equivalent to the accompanying offering for a lamb should be added to it. The flour should be mixed with the oil and scalded with boiling liquid. All right, so it's like what it sounds like? That's what you do with a bagel. In a bagel, the first thing you do is you put it together, even though it's not so much oil, it's more with flour and water and a bit of oil, but here it's not with the and you then scald it. But this is not a bagel, by the way. Yeah, actually only in Montreal they do it that way. That's true. Each half of isorin should be kneaded into 6 loaves. That's a total of 12 loaves. Okay. These loaves are prepared one by one. How are they prepared? 3 lugim of oil with it divided into 12 using the temple measure of a revis of loig that exists in the temple, a revis for each half loaf. Right, so you have a revis is a fourth. So a fourth times the 3 gives you 12 for the 12 loaves. The loaf then would be baked some and then fried on a flat frying pan. Okay, so first it was scalding water, then it would be baked somewhat, and that's like a bagel too. But then it's fried. By the way, this is all Passover, Dick, so it's not chametz. It's like matzah, but it's thicker. And then on a flat frying pan, and that's what chavitim, the remainder of its oil. It should not be cooked very much, using the term tenufe, which implies something being cooked very lightly. Right? So then, yeah, it's on a flat frying pan. Afterwards, each loaf should be divided into two by approximation, so that half can be offered in the morning and half in the afternoon, in the evening, rather. He should take the halves of and fold them, one of them in half, and then divide the loaves that fold so that each flat cake will be folded in half. So you're taking it, it's like on a pan, now you're folding it, right? He then offers the halves with half of a handful of frankincense in the morning, and the remaining half with half of a handful of frankincense in the evening. If it is an initiation offer, so that's a daily thing that he's doing, but it's also done as an initiation of the kohen or yeah, both regular kohen and the high priest kohen, the kohen gadol, right? This is also part of an initiation that they into office. It is not divided into half. Instead, it is offered entirely as a single entity, together with a handful of frankincense, right? Not divided, because it's not a morning and an afternoon thing. Both of them are consumed entirely on the altar's pyre. Right. Both the daily one and the initiation one.
It says here the priest never eats the meal offering.
These meal offerings they don't eat. Right, because these are of a collective whole. These are communal. Any communal meal offering is not eaten by the Kohanim. The personal ones are eaten, because then we'll see what you do kmitza, you just take a little with your fingers. Okay.
Mhm.
Number 5, how is the meal offering of fine flour prepared? Okay. So one brings an isarin, again, this isarin of flour. Or several isarinas, or many according to his vow, a fine flour, and oil appropriate for it. The flour should be measured in its own measure of the temple. Oil should be placed in a container, and the flour poured upon it. And then the other oil should be poured over the flour, and the flour mixed in it. Afterwards, it is placed in a sacred vessel. A sacred vessel is then what makes it sacred at that time. It's like it's like of an offering, an animal offering. It's like the slaughtering, if you will. And the oil is poured onto it, and the total of the oil placed first, that mixed with the flour, and that poured upon it is a log for an isarin. Frankincense is placed on it. A log is about 12 ounces. I think, if I remember. I have to get this. Okay.
Well,
How is a meal offering cooked in a flat? How are the meal offering cooked in a flat frying pan, and one cooked in a deep frying pan prepared? Two different types, right? Oil should be placed in a container. The flour poured upon it. So everything here is very precise, and it's different. You know, some you put the flour into the oil, and some the oil into the flour. Interesting. And then other oil should be poured over the flour, and the flour mixed in it. After it should be kneaded with warm water and baked on a flat frying pan or in a deep frying pan, as he vowed. It is broken into pieces and placed on a sacred vessel, and the remainder of the oil is poured upon it. Then frankincense is placed upon it.
it's crunchy.
Good question.
Does it break it?
Yeah. I mean, you could break bread and it's not crunchy, right?
Yeah, you can't break bread if it's fresh. You tear it apart.
I don't know. Good question. What is the difference between a flat frying pan and a deep frying pan? Deep frying pan has an edge, and the dough cooked in it is soft. Because since it is on the edge, the dough does not drip off. A flat frying pan does not have an edge. The dough cooked and it is firm, so will not drop off to either side. Okay, but kind of makes sense when you have something that has an edge to it, so then it's more contained and it's not gonna be as cooked through and through.
But it spreads out.
Right, it's gonna spread out more,
The other
exactly.
one isn't spread out.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have to go.
Thank you.
All right.
Good day, everybody.
Thank you.
Rabbi.